Sir, shall we start our session, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, sir. Never stop believing in hope because miracles happen every day. Good afternoon to one and all present here. On behalf of Department of English, PPG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore, I welcome you all to the sixth day of 7-day national level virtual faculty development program on discourse on cross culture and cultural trauma. The topic of today is cultural issues in Indian writing in English. To explain this in a detailed manner, today we have Mr. Rajesh Shankar sir as our guest. With this welcoming note, I would like to invite Ms. V. Menaka Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of English, to introduce our guest.
A warm good afternoon to one and all present here. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. I feel honored to introduce our chief guest of the day, Mr. Rajesh Shankar, Assistant Professor, Department of English, MVP's Arts, Commerce and Science College, Nasik. Sir has 23 years of teaching experience. His area of specialization is socio-cultural issues in India, Indian writing in English. He has qualification of NET with JRF. He has participated and presented papers in more than 38 conferences in state, national, international level. He has presented and published a paper on topic mass media, responsible or not, effective use of English language in print advertisement, innovative practices in teaching of poetry in UG level, and so on. He has published a book titled Selected Dalit Stories Translated into Marathi. He has administrative experiences for many years. He has acted as a coordinator for Soft Skill Development Program, Academic Research Cell and IQAZ in the year 2014 to 2016. He was acting as a chairperson for Placement Cell from 2017 and Cultural Cell from 2018 to till now. He worked as an active member of Art Circle for 15 years, worked as a coordinator for oral examination, worked as a member for Flying Squad, paper sitter, moderator, examiner for University exam as well as YCMOU examinations. His contributions and innovations for teachings are many. With his profile, I would like to hand over the session to our chief guest.
Thank you very much, Assistant Professor Meneka Devi. First of all, very good afternoon to one and all. And let me congratulate the organizer, especially the Department of English, who asked the resource persons to talk on this discourse on cross culture and cultural trauma, because this is a very trendy topic nowadays and we cannot live without culture. This is what exactly the main scenario or the main points throughout these last 5 days we have been discussing. I'm very much thankful to the Miss R. Dhravani Devi ma'am, as well as the convener and head of the department of PPG College of Arts and Science College, D. Deepika Devi ma'am, as well as your honorable principal Muthamani ma'am also, and all these participants. I hope you are enjoying this particular faculty development program. I could not attend the first two lectures, but I attended the Yasmin ma'am as well as the Niveta ma'am and Miss Deepa ma'am lectures. I hope all of you got at least what is there in this particularly the when we talked about the culture. Culture is not at all a very simple term which we use in a way today. But culture is so vast, especially when we look at it in a deeper way. Niveta ma'am has communication in English language, especially during her presentation. Yasmin ma'am also explained very beautifully how this contextualizing this cross cultural communication in our daily life. So let I hope the screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Friends, I have, I have chosen the cultural issues in Indian writing in English. When I say these cultural issues, the first question come up in our mind, that is, what is culture? Last 5 days, every resource person throw a light on it. But what exactly mean by culture is? See, this is what exactly one image where you could see all the petals over there, right from the attitudes, beliefs, use of language, your customs, our rituals, how we behave in our society, our faith, our food culture also, art, drama, music, and so many things over there. And this is what exactly the reflection you could see in our India. Every corner of the India, when we go to north to south, east to west, you found so many differences with all these, what exactly we could say, our customs. There are few differences with our rituals. Today in Maharashtra or everywhere in India, we are celebrating Holi. This is what exactly again a part of culture. If you just look at this particular festival, it is not at all festival in Maharashtrian culture, especially where these Adivasi people they are living, because for them this particular holy festival is from today up to the next 5 days, up to the Ranga Panchami. They are enjoying these 5 days with number of cultural elements would be there. So this is what exactly happened everywhere in India. Now let us see first of all few definitions. Culture can be defined as well as the way of life, including arts, beliefs, and institutions of a population that are passed down from generation to generation. Here, in this particular definition, the important words are the way of life, how we are living our life, including each and everything. I have just noted here arts, beliefs, and institutions. It is not like that much only. But whatever the way of life we are living today, that is to be passed on. Yes, one generation to the next generation. Whatever my father, my grandfather, they were living their own life, that does not mean that I should live in the same way, same manner. No doubt, due course of time, there are so many changes in the generation to generation. Therefore, there must be some gap. But still, there are certain issues, there are certain points, especially when we are there at our home. There are certain rituals we have to follow from generation to generation. The way we pray the God, the way we speak, the behavior, all these changes comes from one generation to the next generation. Culture has been also called the way of life for an entire society. Yes. Now the next comes that the way of life is not for me, not for my family, but for an entire society. Why? Because it includes our manners, our dress up, the language which we are communicating in society, from religion which I came from, my art, our rituals, yes, values, symbols, beliefs. So this particular culture, this aspect, cultural aspect goes on and on, and therefore culture is an umbrella term which encompasses the social behavior also, the institutions, and there are certain norms also found in human societies. Therefore, when we came from Maharashtra, we called it the Maharashtrian culture. When we came from the west side, it is the Western culture, and all these matters a lot. But here in our India, we respect everyone. Why? Because of one nation, one culture, and therefore there is a one advertisement come up which flashes, that is called that we call the unique India, especially. Why it is unique? Because though there are certain different cultures, different languages, different religions, rituals, but still we are united. This is the belief, art, morals, law, custom, and other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. Here, Edward Taylor suggests or give emphasis on that we are the part of society. Yes, definitely. When we are at home, our culture is different, our behavior is different, our way of speaking is different. But when we go in the market, when we go in the society, our we just match up ourselves with that particular culture. This is very important factor. Culture, this particular word has been taken, the if you go to the root of that particular culture means, it comes from the Latin codere, which intends to restrain, to develop, or to respect. These three things are very important: to restrain, to develop, and to respect. Here, this is what exactly, after completing this 7 days faculty development program, at least you must to retain what we achieved. At least one should to develop what we got through this particular faculty development program, and one should learn to respect everyone. It alludes to the capability of people to characterize and repress the different encounters, to encode and assimilate them seriously. Yes, one should give respect to everyone. One should encode as well as the assimilate them seriously. This is very important. Yes, when we are from culture, let us turn to shift to the literature. What exactly the objectives of literature? Could you anybody tell me what are the objectives of literature? Why do we learn literature? What is the basic objective of literature? There are actually so many objectives.
To learn about life through fiction.
Okay, to learn about life through fiction. Okay, very good. To learn the life. Yes. Any other? You can type in the chat box also. We'll go ahead. Yes, this is what exactly the first objective, I think, to delight and to instruct. Though these are the two different terms, to get to delight and to instruct. When literature gives you the pleasure, happiness, satisfaction, at the same time, literature doesn't ask you to feel happy. No, here, after reading a poem, after reading that particular fiction, drama, short story, whatever form of literature, we get pleasure. Oh, wow, great story. But it doesn't mean that that is what exactly the literature objective and that would be fulfilled. No. After getting the happiness, that story just tell you, teach you something, to instruct. That is also the objective of literature. Again, what exactly literature do? Literature to play historical role in guiding the human through the practical life experiences. Literature provides you what exactly happened in past, in 2 years back, 10 years back, 30 years back, 50 years back. When we read the Shakespeare, when we read the R.K. Narayan's The Guide, at that time we understood the historical role. And that is not the only thing, but it also guide us. Why? Because still even today, R.K. Narayan's The Guide is just gives us the practical life experiences. What does it mean? Because those characters, those situations we found even today, how to tackle with those situations, how to come out of those situations, how to behave in that situation. All these, what this is what exactly the objective of literature. Another objective of literature is to preserve the glory of country's civilization. Any country, we have to preserve it, resolving the cultural conflicts and providing the ideal model of the society. Yes, we have to provide the ideal model of the society. This is very important objective of any literature, any literature. Now, with this little intro about what exactly culture, the cultural terms, and then literature, what exactly the objective of literature. And now let us turn to the cultural issues. When we say, friends, culture, we have seen in that picture there are number of things. Those are the very limited things. But there are certain issues come up through literature. Yes, through literature, because we are focusing on the cultural issues which are reflected through Indian writing in English. Therefore, how these cultural issues we could see, or you have to find out, you have to concentrate, or you have to recall whatever you have read, whether it is a poetry, whether it is a short story, whether it is a novel, whether it is a drama, any form of literature. We have to find out, yes, some of the literature form we found class is there, caste is different, religion has been discussed, multiculturalism we could see, social realism, social values has been pointed out in some poem, in some fiction, gender issues, tradition, individual consciousness. This is a very important factor in 21st century. Quest for identity. Yes. Chetan Bhagat, those who are reading Chetan Bhagat, they know it. Alienation. Yes. We now, majority of the 21st century young generation, they are now cut off from the society. They are living their life in loneliness, alienation. This is a very important issue. Rootlessness. Yes, we all are now cutting from our own family also. This is very important cultural issues. Meaninglessness in the age of globalization, in the age of Insta, WhatsApp, YouTube, all these things, we find it's a meaningful thing. We all, the young generation nowadays, living meaninglessness, it found over there, just like the absurd term which is there, human predicament. So with these cultural, all these cultural issues, when we look at them as a whole, we see that we find all these cultural issues in one book, one anthology. No, it's not like that. But sometimes it happens that within one fiction, within one drama, we could see, when we read that particular form of literature very carefully, then and only you could understood, yes, this cultural issue has been discussed by this particular author. That is what exactly more important, and that is what exactly our focusing point. Now let us recall few poets in Indian writing in English. Now, when you go to the Indian writing in English, especially Rabindranath Tagore, Sarojini Naidu, Toru Datta, Sir Aurobindo, Vikram Seth, Nissim Ezekiel, A.K. Ramanujam, Adil Jusawala, R. Parthasarthi, Jayant Mahapatra, Arun Kolatkar, Mamta Kalia, and so on. These are the famous poet as well as the poetess in Indian writing in English. Why do we call Indian writing in English? Because these all poet or poetess, they focus, they give their life experiences through poetry. Famous poems. Rabindranath Tagore's excellent poems has been written. We know that This is the only person who got the very prestigious award, that is Nobel Prize for his Gitanjali. Sarojini Naidu, Sir Aurobindo, Arun Kolatkar. This is the very famous name in Maharashtra, especially Arun Kolatkar's Jezuri, a very famous poems. If you look at them, if you read them, you feel that you are just travel with those lines to the Jezuri. What exactly mean by Jezuri is what the color imagery over there. All this comes under the culture also. Now let us turn to famous fiction writers, novelists in Indian writing, especially Mulkraj Anand, Raja Rao, R.K. Narayan, Nayantara Sehgal, Kamla Markande, Anita Desai, Amrita Pritam, Jhumpa Lahiri, Arvind Adinga, and the very recent one, or we could say that we all are now reading Chetan Bhagat, Arvind Adingas. These are the two famous 21st century, the novelists especially, they are talking about young generation, their cultural issues through their writings, and therefore Chetan Bhagat's every fiction has been turned into the film. See friends, there are number of novelists they have written. For example, R.K. Narayan is there. The Guide that has been also transformed into the film version. Guide Devanand played a very important role in that particular film. So transforming from one form to the another form, that is not the very simple thing. When we look at or when we read the Chetan Bhagat, we found that these are the contemporary issues, cultural issues, which described and discussed by the Chetan Bhagat. And therefore, number of people they are ready to read it. Now there are dramatists also in our Indian writing in English. Badal Sarkar, Rabindranath Tagore, Vijay Tendulkar, Girish Karnad, Habib Tanvir. These are the famous dramatists. When we go to the Girish Karnad, we found that Girish Karnad's writing, we could just say simply the superb, unquestionable, unquestionable. For reading drama, actually drama is the form that must be performed on the stage and that should be appreciated by the viewers, spectators. But when we student as a student of literature, we read those particular lines, especially the dialogues, and we imagine, recreate those situations in front of us. That is what exactly the difference between the literature student and the other student. Then, yes, now let us turn to the core point, especially the Chetan Bhagat. Friends, Chetan Bhagat is today is an icon of popular culture in India in the 21st century, because a lot of people follow him on their social handles, whether it is a Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, YouTube, etc., etc. Friends, in the particular 21st century of India, English literature, he shows various issues through his writing. Post independence, this is very important because this is a modern novelist. And after India gets freedom, after we could say the after 60-65 years when we got our freedom, what are our issues? If you look at them, just go to the Chetan Bhagat, which are the contemporary issues even today. Chetan Bhagat pinch those issues. The first one is feminism. Yes, even today we still fighting this particular burning issue, that is feminism. Then socio-poetical issues and various aspects of Indian culture we could found in the Chetan Bhagat's novel, especially 5 point someone, two states, what young India wants, the three mistakes, and three mistakes of my life, and one night at call center. Just look at the title given by Chetan Bhagat. One night at the rate of sign is over there. If you go to those particular cover page, you found that at the rate of, that is the sign. So one night at the call center. Here, the title itself suggests that the cultural issue. One night, what happened during that particular night? There are many types of culture like popular culture, mass culture, low culture, high culture, multicultural, cross culture, or cultural, particularly the counter. There are so many definitions. Up to these 5 days we just find out so many things, but I just focused on one by one issues. Yes, before that there is a one quotation. At the end we could see that the references I have given from where certain material I have collected. This is from a very, the journal, the Mohammed Suleiman and Dr. Pankaj Sharma. He has written a study of cross cultural aspects in Chetan Bhagat's novel, especially the two states. There is a world of Donald Greenlace. It suggests that Chetan Bhagat might not be another Vikram Seth, Salman Rushdie, or Arundhati Roy, but he authentic claims to being one of the voices of generation. Yes, why it is called that voices of generation? Because he talks about the current issues, current cultural issues, especially the middle class Indian youth facing the choices. This is a cultural issue. The young generation facing the choice. There are two, three, four, five options were there, but which is the perfect one? How to choose it? This is what exactly Chetan Bhagat talks about that. Then Chetan Bhagat talking about frustration. Yes, there are certain characters. If you read Chetan Bhagat's novels very carefully, you found that there are characters which shows their frustration also, that comes with the prospect of growing wealth. And why this frustration come up? Because we all are running afterwards the wealth. We just try to find out the settlement, or we could say that the stability. Yes, stability. Yes. Further, it states that Chetan Bhagat has used various themes on culture, especially campus life. Yes, campus life, education life, Indian culture, and cross culture, especially two states. Yes, this is what exactly you found in Chetan Bhagat's two states. He uses the cross culture and portrayal the realistic picture. Yes, this is very important. Realistic picture. Chetan Bhagat doesn't gives you the imaginary life. This will happen, glorified. No, he just state what happened when I just utter this word to my girlfriend. What would be her reaction? Yes, he's just stated in the form of that. Even if you look at the beauty of Chetan Bhagat's writing is that whatever text message, that text message is also printed in the textbook as it is. What would be the emoji forwarded? Emoji has been just printed. This is what, therefore, it suggests that these are the issues of my generation. Yes, I am not at all, we could say that the aged person. I always, because this is the profession where we all try to live young as like you all. So in that two states, he uses the cross culture and portrayal the realistic picture of contemporary Indian society through what? Through the conflict between two different cultures and civilization. It presents the diversity between two different cultures. And if you read that particular novel very carefully, you found that food culture, the differences, the food habits especially, you have to mark over there. Then the dress design, their appearance, the what sort of costumes they were wearing. Then their language, lehza, the way they speak their language, and especially the dialect. You found in that particular two states their rituals. different states, different rituals, social customs. Yes, it's very obvious, and the way of life. Chetan Bhagat, he himself says that I saw the city. It's a quote. It had the usual Indian elements like autos, packed public buses, hustle traffic cops, and tiny shops that sold groceries, fruits, utensils, clothes, or novelty. However, it did feel different first. The sign in every shop was in Tamil. The Tamil font resembled those optical illusion puzzles that give you a headache. If you stare at them long enough, Tamil women, all of them wear flowers in their hair. Tamil men don't believe in pants and wear lungis even in shopping districts. The city is filled with film posters. The heroes' pictures make you feel even your uncle can be movie stars. The heroes are fat, bleeding, having thick mustache, and the heroine next to them is a ravishing beauty. Maybe my mother has a point in saying that Tamil women have a things of North Indian men. Yes, this is the own comment of Chetan Bhagat. And if you look at this comment very carefully, you found that yes, there are different cultures, different parts of India, and that should be reflected through the writing. And therefore, the two states I talked about that. Then, yes, Chetan Bhagat has contacted a portion of the touchy issues, especially the social contrast, father child relationship, and sweetheart cherished relationship, corporate abuse, and two unique cultures. He is of the view that adoration knows no limit, whether it be of rank, doctrine, religion, state, or nation. To some degree, his story is by all accounts of Chetan Bhagat. However, he never asserted it. It's unquestionably love that trumps despite seemingly insurmountable opposition. Two states, it is an account of interstate marriage in India. If you, therefore, I request all of you, please go through this very famous fiction, Two States. The New Britannica Encyclopedia advances culture. He quoted over here. What exactly mean by culture is the incorporated of human knowledge, conviction, and conduct. Culture in this manner comprises of language, ideas, trust, customs, taboos, institutions, techniques, gem, rituals, services, and other related parts. Why I just put these two paragraphs in front of you? There is a one example how Indian novelist wrote a very famous novel, Two States, and look at the Britannica Encyclopedia, the definition about the culture. There is a reflection, the definition, and that is reflected through the writing of Chetan Bhagat's only one novel. Actually, there are several novels, and therefore everybody is now asking Chetan to what would be the next. Now Chetan Bhagat has taken the few years rest. You don't want to write now anything. He is enjoying his in a different way. But look at here, the culture incorporates all capacities and propensities happened by a man as an individual from society. Here, Chetan Bhagat in the Two States, the characters shows that though they are individual, but they are the part of society. It means, therefore, when we look at the Chetan Bhagat's writing, one should have that kind of glasses while you are reading cultural issues. We have to find out, underline them, and reading between the lines, you could find another very famous, or especially majority of the women, not women, but I also a very great fan of Sudha Murthy. When we'll see the Sudha Murthy's writing, Actually, friends, Sudha Murthy's writing and Chetan Bhagat's writing is different culturally. Yes, Sudha Murthy's focusing point or key areas or the cultural perspectives are different than Chetan Bhagat, but both are very much stick up with the cultural issues. That is what exactly I would like to tell you. As one of the India's most well-known and widely read, especially the English language author, that is the Sudha Murthy. In 2013, House of Cards, that has been comes in, for the readers. At that time, it comes through that particular House of Cards. The title again, House of Cards, house, home. This is what exactly you found in India. When we say home, culture comes automatically. Flat, no culture. Flat, everything would be flat. But when you say, this is my home, home connects so many things. It connects the issues, the people, the relationship, man to the man, man, woman, daughter, father, father, son. All these comes together, and therefore we call it the family. Yes, where do you find the family? At home, in home, especially, and therefore family relationships, employment, and maintaining a healthy balance between all these three. Her books House of Cards is the perfect fit in these, particularly the cultural issues. The premises of the story is that, in that particular, this particular House of Cards story is talking about a very, we could say that, couple, especially married couple, Sanjay and Mrudula. Look at the name also. Very common name, very touching name. Sanjay and Mrudula, very common. So when the Indian writing, why Indian writing appeals we all? Because it gives, it suggests my own culture. Yes, therefore we just try to read the Indian writing, and therefore the Sanjay and Mrudula, they found some sort of struggle to make the ends to meet. And this is particularly over there in this particular House of Cards, the place service to the others above that own interest. Sanjay on the other hand is unable to benefit from this kind of attitude to make a fortune. Yes, Sanjay is a very different sort of person. Sudhamurti has shown in this particular House of Cards, and he abandons his values and ethical principles after being disillusioned by the level of corruption. Yes, corruption. This is the cultural issue. Corruption in 21st century becomes the cultural issue. Yes, everywhere, this and that, this way or that way, you found that yes, everybody is intact. Everyone is captured by this corruption, and we all are also the part of it. Yes, so the corruption around him, he and buddy build a hospital together and charge the extra prices for the services. This is again the issue. This is very critically Sudhamurti talks about the, especially the profession, very loyal profession, that is a doctor. And as the cash rolls in, the begins to get concentrated and egocentric. And Mrudula, on the other hand, is special. This is the way of particularly the Sanjay living, Sanjay is behaving, the manners, the way of life of Sanjay. And what about the Mrudula? Mrudula, on the other hand, continues to uphold her values. She is preserving those values. Do you think, friends, that only the Indian woman, they also stick up with those values only? And what about the Indian men? They don't bother about the values. They just try to crush those values. Do we agree with me? I think Majority of the Indian men, male, they are they do not bother about the values. They think that it's okay. Yes, this is what exactly. Again, this is again the cultural issue. It's okay, yaar. Forget it. If you go to the nowadays the web series, the films and the serials, what they are imposing on us, Western values they are trying to impose on you all. They ask you, they appeal you, just forget your cultural values, cultural issues, just forget them all. This is what exactly the new culture, 21st century things. One man, two ladies, one is married, another is unmarried. What is the relationship over there? It's okay, yaar, it happens. This is the new trend, what they are imposing us. So I appeal here to the all the particular participants, what we are watching, what we are reading. Please read it, watch it with your open eyes. Don't forget our own culture. This is not our culture, friends. Our culture is our own family, our friends, our relatives, our the people around us. They are not behave like this. So think about it also. So here the Mrudula is very much stick up with the values, causing a rift between the two, and therefore there is a very much struggle between them both. When it comes to the raising their only kid, Shishir, Sanjay turns into a controlling spouse who pushes Mrudula into a life of lies in order to build a reputation of herself. And as the rift widens, Mrudula decides to leave Sanjay. Here, Sudha Murthy suggests, I hope you might have gone through that Henry Gibson's A Doll's House very long, long back ago. Nora, yes. Nora quit the door and there the drama ends. Here, even 21st century, what happens? Do you think that the cultural issues has been changed? No, there is no change. Even today, the women they are suffering. They are even today try to find out their own identity. Yes, in search of identity, loneliness. There are so many Indian writings. I think 2 days back, Shashi Deshpande or someone that reference has been given. So these are the issues we have to focus very particularly. Yes, look at that. When it comes to the family relationship, employment, and maintaining the healthy balance between all these three of these, her book House of Cards is a perfect fit. The promise of the story is that married couple Sanjay and Mrudula struggle to make ends meet, to make a fortune. Sanjay abandons his values and ethical principles after being disillusioned by the level of corruption around him. He and a buddy built a hospital together and charged exorbitant prices and services, as I told you. And here, at the end, Mrudula decides to leave Sanjay. There is a one quote from, I would like to read that 2 3 lines, House of Cards. Well, she is a woman. She shouldn't drink. Who said that you have to be a man to drink? Sanjay wanted to support his son and said, Sarla worked hard and made loads of money. She has a right to enjoy it too. Mrudula got irritated. What do you mean? Haven't I earned money with hard work too? Look at that. This is a very crucial dialogue, especially. Here we could understood the issues, what is happening exactly in the culture. Sarla is also the female, Mrudula is also the female, but Mrudula does not approve Sarla's drinking habit, especially. And there are many ways in which the patriarchy operates. Yes, patriarchy. That is also cultural issue. Patriarchy. What your father, what your brother suggests you, tells you, you have to follow them. We have to accept them. We don't have right to reject them. This is again shows in this particularly Sudhamurti. Yes, let us turn to now the next form. Yes, the failing of a banyan tree. Yes, one of my very famous poem. I do like this particular poem because it's a very environmental poem. In the culture, environment also come up. We have to preserve our environment. Do we really preserve our own environment in the real sense? Just do the plantation, and after 1 or 2 years, just look at that particular plant. Is it over there? No, it's not over there. For a certain plant, it required some sort of cooperation. We have to interact with that particular plant. We have to look after it. Healing touch must be there. Yes. This is what exactly a very famous poem, The Felling of Banyan Tree. Near about 12 to 13 lines over there in this felling of the banyan tree. Yes, this is a poem talks about cutting off a centuries of old mythical banyan tree. Especially Dilip Chitra is talking about the banyan tree. When banyan tree, when we utter this word, we know that it is our culture. There are every tree in India. We just worship them all. Banyan tree is one of them. And this particular, the poem begins especially. My father told the tenants to leave, who lived on the houses surrounding our house on the hill. One by one, the structures were demolished. Only our own house remained and the trees. What is this? Alienation, cut off. This particular feeling of the banyan tree is just not talked about the environment, but it suggests you so many things. In further, it talks about in one line values also. Values also comes under the cultural things. So how look at that? There are trees are only our own house remain and the trees are sacred. My grandmother used to say. Yes, here is the value what my grandmother suggests, what my grandmother always talks us. She told us that trees are sacred. Yes, this is the value. This value must be inculcated among each and every Indian, everybody. One should not forget that these trees are our own life. They are the part of our own life. ये सभी के सभी जो पेड़ पौधे जो है ये हमारे ही हिस्सा है. We are the part of them actually, and then felling them is a crime, but he massacred them all. They massacred them all. What my grandmother says, it's a sacred thing, and second thing, felling them is a crime. Nowadays we don't bother about doing crime. No, very all the time, especially there is hardly enough one moment or 1 day or 1 hour that at that time we should not commit any crime. We all the time we are committing the crime especially, and therefore we don't bother about the crime also. In further, he suggests that the shevga, the audumbar, and the neem were all cut down. All these trees has been cut down. Only this banyan tree. What is that? After 3 4 lines, the banyan tree was 3 times as tall as our house. What is this? It suggests you the culture, Indian life. How is our house? Our house is surrounded with the trees. We find today. Just look at your around your own home. We find such a trees. We find the audumbar, we found the ashoka, we found the banyan trees. We just found the very shabby, shruggy flower, small one. They do not give you anything. No, nothing. Decorative trees would be there, but not our own cultural trees. Banyan tree is a part of our own culture, don't forget it. And therefore, it suggests that how much the trunk size. Its trunk had a circumference of 50 feet. Look at that. Here, this whole poem describes how this banyan tree stands in front of you all while you are reading this poem, how they chopped them 30 feet or more. So, first they cut the branches, sawing them off for 7 days, and 7 heap of huge insects and birds began to leave the tree. This is another point, cultural point. One should not just cut the trees, but we should, when we cut them all, at that time we ask the birds, the insects to leave it. uh, I hope you might have seen that particular one picture which was very much viral. uh, the one tree has been chopped down, and all these birds were just flying, they just leaving their nests, and that tree just fall down. What it suggests, it's our culture, so it is deeply rooted. And therefore, Dilip Chitre, yeah, here is the banyan tree poem especially. And at the end particularly, and then they came to its massive trunk, 50 men with axes chopped and chopped. The great tree revealed its rings of 200 years. Yes, this is what exactly our culture. 200, 500, 700 years old trees. We watched in terror and fascination his slaughter, as a raw mythology revealed to us its age, and soon afterwards we left the Baroda for Bombay. And last line, which are very important, we suggest that after doing crime, what happens, what it feels you. Soon afterwards, we left the Baroda for Bombay, where there are no trees except the one, and the last two lines, which grows and seethes in one's dreams, its aerial roots looking for the ground to strike. Yes, this is what exactly the culture. The tree is just in my dream, and that tree is still searching the roots where they just found the ground. Does it happen? And now let us turn to the one of the drama, especially. You might have heard about this particular very famous drama written by Vijay Tendulkar. Silence, the court is in session. Especially Silence, the court is session is written one of the finest works which represents our Indian patriarchal society. And this work has a rebel. It suggests patriarchal is the cultural issue, and this particular drama nothing but a rebel against the established valued of fundamentally orthodox Indian society. Yes, orthodox society. What is that orthodox? Tendulkar seems to have produced it out of the instinct of protest against corruption. This is the first issue. And secondary, in the judiciary, in the post-colonial India, it is still happen in the judiciary. In it, he has explored to the judiciary has utterly disempowered an unmarried expectant woman and reduced her to an object. They were looking, we all are looking towards the woman as an object. This is what exactly over there, this particular. Again, this particular play is talking about the gender discrimination also. The gender discrimination. Women are the real architect, especially of the society. She has the power to create. Recreational power has been given to the woman only. Nourish and transform. The society around her always had been a challenging, and the women in India have never been able to live in circumstances where are treated equally. Gender discrimination is in patriarchy and women's fight against the injustice done to her. Yes, this particular drama suggests that how that woman face so many problems. And look at that, there are certain issues, reflection of issues. If you look at one by one, the famous novels, famous drama, poetry, even the short story, you can make like this table, the work, the author, and what particularly issue over there which has been reflected in that particular. For example, in the guide R.K. Narayan's The Marital Relationship, faithfulness versus betray. This is what exactly the issues. Then silence, the court is in session, gender discrimination, patriarchy, Silent Steps. This is a very famous poem written by Rabindranath Tagore, which suggests talking about the faith on nature or especially on the God. This is what exactly over there. So these are certain. Sudha Murthy is very famous one. Chetan Bhagat, Shashi Tharoor, yes, Shashi Tharoor, who also focuses on certain current political issues, especially. Shashi Deshpande is one of the great novelists. This is what exactly the works cited. I could share this PPT to the Deepika Devi ma'am also, so she would be convey to you all. With this, I hope you do understood. Actually, the cultural issues are so many. It is not possible to just cover up them all in 1 hour, especially. But I try my level best, just give you some sort of the snapshots of from poetry, from fiction, from drama. So whenever you are just go to read the any novel, any fiction, at that time one should keep in mind that these are the cultural issues we have to talk about. I once again thank you very much for Deepika Devi ma'am, they are organizing whole team, and you all the participants. If you have any queries or question or you want to discuss something, the platform is open for your discussion now. Thank you so much, Sundar Lingam, for your appreciating words. See, when you read poems, one should have the different perspective while you are reading that particular poem. But especially when we read the Indian writing in English, at that time one should focus on that what sort of culture he's talking about, he's trying to convey with me, especially with the readers. When we read the Chetan Bhagat, you have the different angle. When we read the Sudha Murthy, you have the different angle. And when we read the Shashi Tharoor, one should have that different angle. So while you are go through the writings, especially the literature, therefore I just begin with my presentation with the objectives of the reading literature. Okay, any question or would you like to add something? You're most welcome. Yeah, Mukta Sen has one question. What cultural issues does the novel? Yes, just me read. What cultural issues does the novel Two States deal with? Yes. See, there are so many things. Actually, this particular Two States title or the particular whole novel is based on the two different cultures. Every in the every sense, especially the language, the different languages, especially their food habits. That is also the part of our culture. So their food and their names, dialects also. Yeah, dialects also, especially talking in that special way. So in the two states they were clear cut, even the costume also. Yes, the way, the two different states, the people, they were having their own costumes. Especially from Maharashtra people, they have different costumes. In the Karnataka they have their, if you go to the Kashmir, they have their own different costumes. This is also the part of our culture, and these all are the cultural issues. Those, though there are these issues, but still we have to manage with each other. How? That is what exactly the two states deals with. Yeah, cross-cultural issues, especially the Nivetha ma'am, she has elaborated this particularly the cross-cultural issues in a very beautiful way. Uh, for example, food, especially the making of food, especially that is different from our one region to another region. That is over there, but the food remains same. Cross-cultural issues you could see over there. Menka ma'am is there.
Sir,
Yes.
participants, do you have any questions? Sir, shall we wind up this session, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, sir. The English language is nobody's special property. It is the property of the imagination. It is the property of language itself. You have enriched our knowledge through culture issues in Indian writing in English. You have listed out various Indian authors and their works. You have thrown the light on Chetan Bhagat and Sudha Murthy's novels and reflection of Indian writing in English. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening presentation.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Dear participants, thank you all for your presence today. We will meet tomorrow for the last session. Thank you all. Have a nice day. We will post the feedback link soon.